Hello everyone. Hi Kasym, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm at the office right now.
So awesome. I can see the logo behind you.
Hmm. Right. Yeah.
So I think we have to wait a couple minutes, just our viewers can join us. So let's
Hmm.
wait. Our first guest already joined us. Good afternoon, dear friends. Hope you are doing great. We continue our series of USG alumni talks, and it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, summer work and travel alumnus Kasym Rakhmankulov. He is a multimedia producer at Azatlık Media. So he will be talking today about the social media trends before and after the pandemic. So first of all, thank you very much, Kasym, for accepting the invitation and joining us today. And also, I want to kindly remind our friends, please leave your questions, comments under this video, and our guest speaker will answer them after the presentation. So I think we can start.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I will be very happy to share my experience and to share my observation on how people's behavior is changing during, before, and after pandemic. I will be talking about two things basically. I think we can divide it into two sections. So first, I want to talk about topics, yeah, that people are interested in, and also I want to talk about the social media usage. So how people use social media, and when they use it, and how they use it. And I think I will basically talk about Kyrgyzstan because I know a lot of same trends are happening in other countries as well, and the whole world. But I think for our specific audience, they will be interested in the situation in Kyrgyzstan. So first of all, I wanna start with what people are interested in. So we have radio, we have television, and we have our web page. So we can generally say that we have a lot of subscribers. They also include viewers. So we have a YouTube platform, we have Facebook pages, both in Kyrgyz and Russian language. We also have Instagram pages, both in Kyrgyz and Russian. And actually, statistics are pretty much the same, but the usage of those platforms are slightly different. And I think if we have time, I'll also talk about that. So, subjects. People are at the beginning of the pandemic. Our audience, our readers, were basically interested in coronavirus, everything which is connected to coronavirus, starting from some explainers on how to wash your hands properly, on how to wear some masks, how to prepare some masks by handmade masks maybe. But right now we see that Kyrgyz audience is not as interested in that kind of subjects as before, because right now everybody knows how to wash their hands. Everybody knows how to wear their masks properly. Uh, right now, we see that our subscribers, our audience, is more interested in what's going to happen after the pandemic. What kind of an economic trends that the country is waiting for? So, what some economic forecasts? Yeah, uh, and they are also interested in how the nature is changing. So, for example, recently we have held an interview with a biologist about increasing number of snakes in Bishkek area. And that particular interview, the statistics for this interview were amazing. A lot of people reacted. A lot of people engaged into that interview. A lot of people read and commented that interview, which means people are more interested in nature, in subjects which is connected to nature. And I don't know, maybe it is because they start looking at the mother nature differently. They change their behavior towards nature, uh, or they just miss the nature itself because they are sitting at homes, and they really want to go outside. They really want to go to mountains and whatever. So, but they're very interested in that kind of, subjects and articles connected to what's happening with nature. Also, I would also say that, for example, elderly people, they were very affected by some conspiracy theory articles, that actually this virus doesn't exist, that um, we shouldn't be believing that news about the overall situation with coronavirus. Um, and that also made those kind of conspiracy theories possible because, for example, Kyrgyz government, they at the beginning of the quarantine, they restricted some of the media outlets yet from working, which means journalists were also sitting at homes and working from homes. So uh, they kind of have some troubles with writing articles and getting information because they were not allowed to go outside and to get necessary information. Uh, and right now, as I said before, people are more interested in life after pandemic. So they're interested in what's going to happen after pandemic, how economics of not only Kyrgyzstan but overall economics of different countries will recover from pandemic situation. They're also interested in some economic forecasts, not only economic forecasts but social forecasts. So how people's behavior will change after pandemic. Uh, um, and right now we see that uh, people are not interested in daily updates on coronavirus situation, on situation connected with pandemic. They're seeking for something else right now. And mm, I think, I mean, it's my personal judgment, but it seems like they're kind of full. People are kind of fed up with overwhelming information about coronavirus. Um, so right now we're thinking about, giving some new perspective on that situation, on the perspective that actually virus didn't disappear after quarantine, after will come back to life. So they still have to take necessary measures. Yeah, they still have to wear their masks. They still have to wash their hands. So this is about what kind of articles people are interested in, and I also want to talk about how people use social media. So before the pandemic, we actually had a certain clear clear periods when we had prime time. For example, for Facebook, prime time would be 1 p.m. Yeah, 1 p.m. So usually people go to Facebook. People are being engaged on Facebook starting from 11 a.m. till 2 or 3 p.m., and then they come back at evening till 11 p.m. They are active on Facebook. Whereas for Instagram, this time is different. For Instagram, we also have people are being engaged uh, till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. So this is very interesting because we assume that Instagram is being used mostly by young people. And when I say young people, I mean maybe some students, some school kids. So they don't really have to, uh, sleep. I mean, they have to sleep, but um, they use mostly Instagram till late at night. So they are staying late on Instagram, liking our news and videos. Uh, and during quarantine, we actually didn't have that clear borders, that clear differences between prime time, because whole day and night became prime time because people were online like 24/7. And whenever you post some news or article on social media, they start sharing and reading it, be it like 3 a.m. or be it like 5 p.m. So people start using social media certainly more than they did before. And I went through some statistics of the world media outlets, and they have pretty much the same statistics that we have. So I think people they act similarly, all around the world. And I also would like to talk about the people, how people use internet, social media during Ramadan. Yeah, as we all know, we recently had a month of Ramadan when Muslim people fast. So it also actually affects how people use social media, because when you go online at let's say at 8 p.m., when people start consuming their food, when they start eating, you will not see any posts, any people sitting online during that period. um, and you don't really think of posting something, because that post will not get a lot of engagement, because most people are uh, having their meals at that time. And vice versa. For example, if you post something on Facebook at 4 a.m., people start reacting to that post, because that people have their breakfast at 3 a.m., and then after they had their breakfast, they just go online and check what's new. So it's different how different kind of external factors influence people's usage of social media. And we make an analysis of that kind of statistics, because we want to reach more people. Yeah, because we want our articles to be read by as much possible readers as possible, because we provide them with healthy information. Yeah, not some fake news. We also have radio programs, morning and evening programs. So everything what we have on our web page, we also have them broadcasted on radio and through TV. So this is basically what I really wanted to share with you. Some statistics, some insights. If you have questions, I think I'll be happy to answer them.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Kasym. It's for your great presentation, and it's very interesting that social media trends also affected by pandemic. And also, I want to friendly remind our viewers, please type your questions or leave your comments, and Kasym will answer them. So, the first question to you, Kasym.
Mhm.
As we all know that social media can be the source of information, but also it can be the source of misinformation. So, how social media actually combat with this fake news, or I don't know, with this misinformation
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah, so when we talk about social media, we mean a wide range of platforms, starting from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and ending with some messengers. So here we have to differentiate them because, for example, when we talk about the influence of fake news, we should mostly talk about messengers. For example, uh, when all this situation start escalating, people start receiving a lot of audio messages, fake messages from WhatsApp, right? And we also had our some announcements on radio, on TV, on our webpage that people should avoid forwarding, sharing any kind of suspicious audio messages unless they find out is it true or not. Because people actually, this is not only about Kyrgyz people. This is just a trend worldwide that people tend to share more fake information rather than some truthful information because fake information attacks emotions of people. So, for example, if they say something bad is happening and we don't know about that, people start fearing. Yeah. So even right now, people read uh, news about coronavirus which are connected to some kind of horror or to connected to some kind of a fear. For example, if we just say that today like 27 or 30 people were found with positive coronavirus, people don't read that kind of news, but people read that like two people died from coronavirus today. So people read that kind of news more than just statistics. Why is it so? Because people tend to believe some emotional news, and that's where uh, yeah, let's say bad guys are using that trick. They start disseminating some fake news by the voices of ordinary people. Actually, these are not some scientists. These are not some experts. Fake news are being disseminated only by ordinary people. This is actually was emphasized by many scientists dealing with social media trends. I had a book, yeah, which said actually like 90% of fake news are being disseminated by average people. It's not scientists, yeah, because average people, they when they say something fake, the other guy will tend to believe it more, because that ordinary person is just like him or her. So I would also strongly recommend to avoid sharing any kind of suspicious audio messages, not only audio but any kind of links, any kind of conspiracy theory news about specifically coronavirus, because sometimes people are even being a disseminator of fake news, um, even if they don't really want to be a disseminator. Yeah, they just don't realize they are disseminating fake news, that they are also being part of that chain. So what should they do? They should just go and check for example, our webpage, which is azatlık.org, or for example, go to BBC. Yeah, this same reliable sources. Like we have a lot of reliable sources, like media agencies like 24.kg, yeah, where they can check that kind of information online. And if that is not true, that is fake, people our journalists usually post news saying that, for example, the information with the 5G is fake. Don't believe that, right? So actually right now journalists, uh, what is being really hard for journalists right now is that they are dealing with that kind of fake news. So we are counter messaging. So we have a lot of soldiers, disseminators of fake news, and we as journalists feel that responsibility that we have to fight them. We have to fight as well this fake news, and we have to do that kind of things constantly. Yeah. So yeah, that's different, and of course, we should also talk about messengers. Yeah, this is it comes with messengers that they should. Well, actually, Messenger, WhatsApp is integrating some option which will not let you forward a certain kind of message more than 5 times, and they will also have this icon, meaning that, for example, this message was forwarded like 5 times, yeah, or forwarded 4 times. So you see when and where it came from. Yeah, it also will make you aware of fake information. And of course, you always have to double check. So if you have something suspicious, you always have to go to some reliable sources and just double check that information and find out. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much, Kasym. So, following our first question, so can you recommend or advise some websites or apps for fact checking?
Well, actually, that there is not a universal resource or rule. So the basic rule is that you have to check a certain kind of information at least using two source. So, for example, I will share our experience, how we do that. Our not even experience, our rule. For example, when journalists of Azat they write some news, we always check that information confirmed by two sources. So, for example, we heard that people start tweeting about some conflict at the border. Yeah, like it happened yesterday. Um, what do? We don't write it right away. We always try to contact officials, our state officials. Yeah, like border committee or whatever. So we are trying to get a official information from them, and then if they confirm that yes, some conflict happened, that and then only then we just write about that. Also, we are checking some other resources. So, for example, if some news, let's say news web page wrote about some news, it's not it cannot guarantee that it's not fake actually, because we have a lot of resources on internet, Kyrgyz resources, who write some low quality, not truthful news, and they are not always truth. And actually, this is also something that we have to bear in mind, that we shouldn't be believing everything which is written as news. Yeah, we have to double check it always. We have to double check, and actually, it's all about critical thinking. So even if you read something, um, even if you read something on BBC or Azati, you always have to just simply think about it. Why is it happening? It might not be true, yeah, but well, usually if it's on Azatik or BBC, it is true, but you always have to think critically about any kind of information that you are receiving. uh, and uh, and for example, if we want to talk about some photos, yeah, you can use Google itself. You know that you can also upload some photo onto Google and then check where that photo came from, because we had a lot of cases when people started disseminating some videos that happened like 3 years ago, that happened like 10 years ago. Yeah, and
Mm,
we have to always bear in mind that there is always some kind of, people, some forces that want to disguide us, that want to uh, take away us from the truth, actually. And we always have to know that. Yeah, we always have to
mhm,
know um, who's gonna gain from that fake news. Yeah.
mm. So thank you very much, Hassan, for your answer. So the next question to you: have you heard about the new word like ambassadors of kindness, positivity in social media?
Um, no, I haven't heard what do they mean.
I mean, it's about being positive, posting positive things on social media, like during this pandemic situation. So, what do you think about it? So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I've heard about positive messaging. Yeah, which means even if something bad is happening in the country, or even with you yourself, you can always change that status quo, that situation, by positive messaging. And I want to share some statistics of Facebook platform itself. You know that we have emotions. Yeah. So, for example, under any post on Facebook, we have uh, a list of emotions. Yeah, it's like a
emojis.
like button. It's sad and it's funny. It's crying and it's like different kind of posts. So, what emotion is used the most? So, my question to you, maybe just guess what kind of emotion is used the most by Facebook users all around the world.
Likes, maybe.
Uh, well, likes and yeah, likes. Well, because likes were invented before, all the rest of the emotions came. Yeah, but among these emotions, what kind of?
Maybe sad. Maybe.
Not true. No, not true. No.
I'm not so good at guessing.
Yeah. So it's love. Yeah.
Oh,
It's love. Emotion of love. And people start pressing that love button
mm-hmm.
during some like holidays, like uh, before the New Year, during, for example, Eid, yeah, Eid, we call it Eid, like Muslim holidays. So people press that love button, which means people always actually seek for something positive online. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they are being affected by some negative news, some negative emotions, but they really want to seek for something positive. And when they see that positive thing, they will press that love button, and they'll also press some share button. Yeah, because people are looking for some inspiration all the time. That's why, exactly, you are right, that we have to, if we want to deliver some message, we have to do it not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Um, well, actually, so negative and positive emotions are always, come together. Like we can talk about a recent flash mob on internet, on Kyrgyz media, which is literally can be translated into English as "I'm fed up with." Yeah, so they start hashtag with the word tajadım, which means I'm fed up with, and people start sharing what they're fed up with. So they basically talk about some social problems like poverty and migration and ineffective state institutions, something like that. So people just start sharing their problems. It also, took off like a rocket. It also became very popular right now in Kyrgyz media because it has, it has a negative connotation. It has some negative aspect, but also it has some hope. Yeah, that we hope for the better. So uh, Yeah, but we also have to always remember that positive messaging is always more effective than negative messaging, because positive messaging offers you a solution. Negative messaging doesn't offer you a solution. You just complain about something. You can gain a lot of likes and comments, but when you share something positive, when you share something, some solution, uh, you will be even more popular. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Hassan. So recently, I mean, maybe not so recently, Facebook invented a new emoji like care. So it was like also like kind of
Yeah. Right. Right. Yes. So you see, they have like a sad emotion. They have angry emotion. Yeah, I think it's very good for Facebook inventing that new emoji, because we have to have more positive things, yeah, than negative. Yeah, that was an amazing um, news, actually. Yeah.
yes. Thank you very much, Kasym. So maybe people should stay busy not to get depressed, like doing gardening or biking. And we know that you are fond of STEM fields, and you were invited as a judge for Bishkek American Center Tech and Science Fest. We remember that time. So can you share about your hobby and STEM education? Is also like trends nowadays and promoted in social media, isn't it?
Well, my experience. So actually, I'm more humanitarian. Yeah, I would say, because yeah, I'm more humanitarian. I love reading. Well, I really regret about not going into science. Yeah, because I was actually good at math. And I'm thinking right now, why would I choose journalism? But that's what happened, and that's what I'm really proud of right now. But right now, talking about my hobby. So actually, I started playing chess with my kid right now. I have 6-year-old kid, and one good thing that happened to me during this quarantine is that I taught my son to play chess. And right now, uh, we are practicing a lot at home. And he is also very interested in chess, and chess has a lot of in common with politics, because chess is very interesting and popular game, because of that it it's combination of art and science. Actually, that's what I don't remember who taught that phrase, that word, who these words belong to, but I really love that saying, that chess is a combination of art and science, because you should also use some science to calculate the next move of yourself and your opponent, but also you have to think about how you're gonna attack your opponent. You're gonna do it straightforward in an aggressive way, or you're gonna be use some decisive techniques. So yeah, I think chess is the only thing that I can say I have something similar with science.
Wonderful hobby you have.
Yeah,
It's really about like strategies and tactics.
right.
So the next question to you, Qasim, what is your advice to stay positive and fight with fear and confusion in social media?
Mhm. Well, actually, on social, yeah, I think, well, just because it's our job, we spend a lot of time on social media, but we perceive it as something that we have to do. It's our job. But for the rest of our audience, listeners, viewers, I would say, I would say to limit their time on social media, and to do it productive in a more productive way. So you shouldn't be just sitting and scrolling, because Yeah, it will not give you anything. Yeah, it will not give you anything useful. And also you should actually avoid some negative content. Yeah. Well, you should be pragmatic. You should be you should be using your critical thinking when you read any kind posts and messages on social media. But I would recommend um, to go to some resources, reliable web pages rather than just social media, and to read some articles, some more pieces, because um, they have like more information, yeah, and balanced information rather than social media. And how to stay positive. uh, I often go to YouTube, and I often watch some videos of TEDx. Yeah, this is something very interesting because TED Talks are
Mm-hmm.
very useful in terms of that they talk about different kind of things, including science, anything in a very positive way, in a very clear, and it's very good for anyone to understand some even hard paradigms, difficult, uh, sophisticated things. They present it in a very simple way. And what I love TED Talks for is that they have this positive messaging at the end. They always have that positive message that you can extract from this 18 or 50-minute video. um, and that's what I love it. So YouTube is also social media, and you can watch some really good quality content, like I said, TED Talks, and you will gain something really positive because, for example, after watching 15-minute TED Talks video, I feel myself motivated. I feel myself informed. I feel myself that I gained something, some intellectual knowledge, and some TED Talks. I just watched them like twice, like three times, yeah, because I really want to comprehend all that sophisticated idea that they have. So yeah, these are my advice.
Mhm. Great. Thank you very much, Kasym, for sharing your tips. So we have the question. I think it's the last one. We all have parents and grandparents who trust the information came from different sources. So
Mhm.
how do you usually explain them with simple words that sources they should use? And how do you explain that not all the TV news are truth?
Mhm. Uh, well, yeah, I live with my parents. They are they are not that old, but still they tend to believe to some sensational content. Yeah, for example, my mom, she loves watching news on YouTube. Uh, Actually, she doesn't watch news on TV anymore because she has her smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
and she's keeping posted, keeping informed on what's going on in Kyrgyzstan by social media. And I tell them to always go to uh, our webpage. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that I'm really advertising Azatik, no, but it is really uh, one of few internet resources, reliable resources that you can and that you should go to and double check any kind of information, because we're also receiving a lot of uh, messages, direct messages on Instagram from migrants, from Kyrgyz citizens, uh, on some flights, on some fake news, and we try to reply them all, yeah, because we know the value of true information, and we all know the how harmful a fake information might be. Yeah, so It's like fake information. They tend to be spreading all the time. It's they are constant. So we have to understand that they will never, stop themselves from being disseminated. They will always be being disseminated by someone. That's why we just have to work out some rule, some immune for fake news, and always think twice, not even twice, I mean 7 times before we believe it, because we always have to know that um, people are fighting for our belief. So, for example, if you believe in coronavirus, you are being informed and you protect yourself. Yeah, if you believe in coronavirus, you protect yourself, you wash your hands, you take some measures. And if you don't, maybe you are putting yourself into the risk of being uh, you know uh, being affected by coronavirus. I mean, uh, you should always think about yourself first. And that's why believing in something is very important. And believing in fake news, we have to understand that believing in fake news are going to make us uh, vulnerable
Mhm.
to manipulation. Do you really want to be manipulated? If yes, then you can believe to anyone. And if not, if you really want to have your own opinion, then you shouldn't be believing, people, politics, even, because like our people actually, they have a very strong immune to what politicians are talking about. Yeah, because we have analyzed a lot of comments, and actually people um, tend to not believe to uh, uh, some word speeches of our politicians. So it is true for fake news as well. So it shouldn't be manipulated by anyone, any third party. You should have your own opinion, and you should always bear in mind that actually someone is interested in you believing that fake news. Yeah,
Mhm.
and someone is fighting for your belief, someone is fighting for your opinion, and it is very important what kind of opinion you'll have.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I couldn't make it in one word, but I think I was I was clear.
Yes, don't worry about it. Yes, thank you very much for sharing it.
Mhm.
Kasym. So, one more question.
Sure.
So, your English so good, and I think knowing English or other languages help people to read news in different languages, which
Right.
help compare news and facts and make right decisions which news are truth or fake.
Can you repeat the last sentence?
I mean, people can read news in different languages, which help them to compare news and facts and make right decisions, which news are truth or fake.
Yes. So why I'm talking about Azattık? Because Azattık is a branch of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, which has their offices in more than 20 countries, and it broadcasts their news in 30 languages. Yeah, 30 languages. Can you imagine that? So which means if we write about something international on our webpage, it means it was translated originally from that language where it happened. For example, if we write something about happening in Belarus,
Mm-hmm.
well, we should understand that we have translated that information from Belarusian news media outlet. If we're writing something about happening in Tatarstan, we should understand that we have our correspondents in Tatarstan seeing that thing. So that's why Azat is reliable source. And of course, if we talk about some languages, indeed, searching something online in English will give you way more information, reliable information than just searching it in Kyrgyz or Russian. And right now, I don't really want to offend Russian people or Russian speaking people, but that conspiracy theories that we are talking about, that we talked before, uh, I don't know. I noticed myself that almost all of them are in Russian, and maybe this is some kind of a trend. But actually, uh, you know, I started. I would recommend not to believe, some suspicious channels on YouTube, because people can post anything on YouTube, and if something is on YouTube, doesn't really guarantee that it's reliable. Yeah,
Mhm.
so you should better go to scholars.google.com. The additional word, you can just type it scholars.google.com, and then if you search for something, it will give you some academic information, which is always truthful, which is always reliable. Rather than just typing it on google.com, you should use scholars.google.com, which is also, an open source and easy source for students, yeah, and even for anyone who wants to use that. And you will have different kind of information, quality information there. So yeah, searching something in English will definitely give you more information, and that's why I would, recommend our students to learn English, because, for example, I went to a dentist the other day, and we were talking about some procedures,
Mhm.
and then I went online. I went on YouTube and searched for that in English, and I had like way more information and very high quality information in English. And then when I met my doctor, when I talk about these things, she said even she, didn't know that kind of things, because she doesn't really know English. And me, I was just an ordinary client, yeah, the patient. And how come I know I possess some more information about something? Because I can search it online in English.
Mhm.
So this is something that we have to always
Mhm.
uh, bear in mind.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Kasım.
Mhm.
That was
Thank you. Yeah, I think,
one,
yeah,
one more
yeah,
comment.
yeah. I
Please.
mean, if you have any questions, you can ask me
Mhm.
directly. If we are running out of time, yeah, you're always welcome to ask me any kind of question on
Mhm.
Facebook, on Instagram. Yeah, yeah.
So
You said,
our
yeah.
viewers are asking about sharing the links and websites here. Maybe after the session, we can write these websites in the comments. Can you
Yeah,
please send
sure.
us those links?
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I will send you directly to these people who
Oh,
are asking
thank you
for
very
them.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Thank you very
welcome.
much, Kasym. That was a really wonderful, useful, informative session, and we were happy to have you. Thank you very much for being with us today. And
Thank you.
also, thank you very much, dear friends, for your comments and questions. And I want to make a brief announcement. So today at 7 o'clock, we're gonna have session dedicated to Memorial Day. So please join us as well. So I think it's time to say goodbye. Stay healthy, stay positive, and see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
See
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I'll be happy answering any kind of questions of you guys. And yeah, stay positive and don't believe any fake news.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye.